So one last time for episode 4 of our mini-series on venturing, Dylan is here. And I know that everyone's just been dying to hear about your experience with venturing. So we're going to dive in. Tell us about you, your experience, maybe with BSA as a whole, how you got into venturing, maybe what you're doing now, and all of that.
So I started in scouting back in first grade. I was just at my elementary school, walking in the hallway with my dad, and we saw the poster, "Join Cub Scouts now." And of course we said, well, I guess we have to join Cub Scouts right now.
Perfect.
And so I joined Cub Scouts. I worked, first year, Tiger, Bobcat, went on Wolf, Bear, Weeblo, got my Arrow of Light, got all the 20 of the activity pins. So I was got the Super Achiever Award there.
There you go.
And then swiftly moved on to Scouts BSA. And my first meeting, I have 3 older brothers, and they all were in scouting. But not for very long. The eldest, he was the one who got the furthest, and he only got to scout. I got into scouting, and I went to my first meeting. I had a meeting with my scoutmaster and my dad, and I decided to join. I liked the troop, and I also went home that night, and my dad and I sat down and looked through, the book and said, wow, Eagle Scout, that would be an amazing thing to earn. And so we made a goal. And so I originally, planned to get Eagle at 13.
Wow.
And I got it at 14. I was a bit of a slacker.
Whoa, that's still so quick.
Yeah. So, and that had its interesting experiences. I also moved troops during that. And so that was also something to, adapt to. But they were extremely welcoming, like my first troop. So it wasn't too much of an issue, if any, at all. And got my Eagle. I was an instructor in the troop in between both troops for 3 years. And so I was really giving back to those younger scouts there.
Awesome.
Telling them about scouting, getting them introduced to the troop, helping them with their first couple of ranks, and making them feel welcome. And that's when I then started to look towards other opportunities within scouting, just because, the troop level, the unit level was something that was of interest to me still, but I was also curious about those other things now that I had completed, the rank advancement portion of that. I thought about merit badges and Eagle Palms, but then I also looked towards camp staff opportunities. And so I eventually got onto National Youth Leadership Training staff back in my old council, and I was a service staffer, which isn't as common here, I've heard, for the NYLT here. But
what does it mean?
Basically, making, as a service quartermaster, that's the official title.
Sure.
We called it a grunt. But it was a team of about 3 service quartermasters and the assistant senior patrol leader of service. And that team was tasked with getting all the supplies everywhere on the camp. I was also told that if a scout went missing in the night, they'd wake me up and I'd be one of the people running after them, which is really cool.
You're like, come on, just run away.
I was also asked to take care of some mice occasionally.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but one patrol buried the one that they found, or it ran away, or I don't even know. So I didn't have to take care of it.
Perfect.
So yeah, the service team that was dedicated to making sure everything runs smoothly behind the scenes.
Cool.
And then I was asked back the following year as the ASPL of service. And so I was then a senior staffer with the other ASPLs and the SPL of the course. And then the following year I was asked to be an SPL. And I was the first person in Chief Seattle to only have an experience, a background in service, and then become an SPL, which was really cool and exciting, but also really scary because I didn't know everything yet. It wasn't the traditional path up to that role, or certainly not also the time usually it takes. It's a little bit longer usually. But that was an amazing experience as well. Of course, had about 45 participants. It was great. Mm-hmm. And that's around the time I was really introduced to venturing. And so that's when I got involved with the Venturing Officers Association at the area level with Area 1. And Area 1 spans all of Washington, Oregon, Alaska, Western Idaho, and a bit of Northern California. So Pacific Northwest, more or less. And I was the vice president of communication. There at the at each level in a VOA, typically there's the president and a few vice presidents, and they can either be vice president of program, administration, or communication. My job being communication, a lot of that social media handling, newsletters, graphics, things of that nature, getting the word out about activities, and also supporting the councils in our area, 12 councils, with their communication as well. And then that was 2018 to 2019, and now I'm the president of the area, and working with the Western Region VOA.
That's awesome.
More specifically in their activities, and also supporting my VPs and their activities as well.
Yeah.
So that's, for the most part, my scouting history. But now that I'm here in Missoula, Montana, the Montana Council, I am active as an adult Scouts BSA. I'm a merit badge counselor. I'll be instructing at Merit Badge University this late January.
Yeah.
I'm also just getting involved with the district and the council at large, this venturing educational campaign, and a variety of other things, which is really exciting as well. Eats up a lot of my time, but it's great.
Yeah, something you enjoy and you're passionate about, so that's really neat. What are you doing in venturing right now just as a participant? What kind of things do you enjoy doing as an adventurer?
Yeah, so one thing I was really excited about was I got involved with venturing at that higher level in the VOA, and so I really didn't jump in and have that experience as a venturer, as a true participant, more representing the participants. And so I said, well, first of all, it doesn't make sense that I'm representing the individuals that, representing these individuals if I haven't experienced it truly myself. I know a lot about it, but, got to experience it. And I also wanted to, because I was really interested in the awards and just that framework, the ALPS model, and just those core values spoke to me. And so right now I'm working towards my Summit Award. And at the same time, I'm also, so I'm working through that. I don't know exactly when I will earn all of them. I only have the Venturing Award right now. Excuse me. Actually, we'll go cut back a little bit.
Yeah.
So right now I'm working towards the core awards in venturing, and so working towards the Summit Award. And I don't have a set deadline for that, really being loose on that one. At the same time, though, I'm also working towards something called the William T. Hornaday Award, which is not a venturing or Scouts BSA specific award, but it's an award that has an emphasis on conservation and ecology. And so for that, I'll have to do a series of projects that are basically Eagle or Summit Award projects in that realm of conservation and ecology to earn that. I'll have to do 4 of them. So that'll be a little interesting as well. But
yeah.
Just interested in just, our environment, planet as well. And so that's something that spoke to me too. So
yeah,
that's really what I'm working on there, in short.
Cool, good for you. How has scouting or being involved in BSA and venturing impacted your life?
So venturing has impacted, or scouting has impacted my life a lot, venturing too. And just that it's opened my mind to a lot of things. It's also been a great backbone. It's something really great that, at the end of the day, it's something that I have, as time passes, as things change, at the end of the day, I had and have scouting. So that's really great. I mean, I think most people go to university and they drop 99.9% of their commitments, but in fact, I came in with commitments, or immediately met a ton of people who I can establish and great contact with, great relationship with, just because we had that those shared values and shared experiences. And then it opened me up to more opportunities as well. Yeah. So I guess just in short, it's really been a great opportunity for me to be involved with the community, to learn a lot of things, and to also know that at the end of the day, there's always something I can get involved with, always, people that I can rely on, that can help me and support me as well, and I can support as well too. So it's just been really fundamental in who I am today and who I think I'll be in the future. So
wow, that's really, really powerful. I hope that there are kids listening to this who will follow your footsteps and can experience that as well.
Or parents too.
Yeah.
I think something I didn't touch on is through Scouts BSA as I was working on my formerly Boy Scouts when I was super involved, as of course as a youth when I was involved. But also, as I was working towards my ranks, my dad was really involved, really supportive. And I think it's quintessential that parents are involved with, their child's progress through scouting. Not to say, and they should definitely not do it for them. It's really important that scouts work on their ranks and do everything themselves, but parents should be up to date about what scouts are doing.
Yeah.
And what their scout is doing, and helping them, constantly checking in, seeing where they can support, because at the end of the day, the scout does it, but it's because of that support that they have behind them that's constantly encouraging them, reassuring them that they've got this. That's what gets them, to achieve more. So parent involvement is the most important thing.
That's really good advice. I love it. How can someone join venturing? How did you find your troop when you moved to Missoula, and how do people get started?
Yeah, so it really helps when there's a venturing crew that's, active and nearby. And so I guess immediately, if you're interested, you should look up venturing and see what other people are doing, because, I have that one fondue story. I've also gone on backpacking trips. I guess, just very briefly, we're going on a crew that I was with in Idaho. We're going to have this backpacking trip, 11-miler, turned into a 20-miler.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So, you just have these awesome experiences. You just go out there, you have fun. I would first say, see if there's a venturing crew that's in your local community. If they are, go check them out for sure. Research venturing online, see what other people are doing. I know that there's a lot of interest in, venturing crews that focus on board games, right? And so I guess just transitioning from that, if there isn't a crew in your local area, you can always make one, and it could be whatever you want it to be. It can be board games, right? So people love to play Dungeons and Dragons. They love to play whatever. It can be that backpacking crew. It can be chocolate fondue crew.
All the time.
It can be whatever you want it to be. And so I would encourage older youth, or at least those who are able to join, 14 through 20, to look for those opportunities and see if there are other people interested, because at the end of the day, might be in Scouts BSA, you might be saying, well, what other opportunities are there? So talk to some of the others in your unit, see if they're, or friends at school, see if they're interested in starting a crew, getting together. And I know a lot of people might think that, their other scouting commitments might be a barrier. So also, if you're interested in venturing and you're in a Scouts BSA troop, talk to your unit leaders about having a venturing crew that meets at the same time and place, right? So that could just be a great opportunity for you to stay involved with your current unit, but also pursue venturing as well. So there are a number of opportunities there. So see if there's one in your local community. If there's not, be reassured, because it can be whatever you want it to be. So don't think that it has to be either what's in this handbook or what somebody else does. It can be whatever you want. And if you're struggling because you think that you have too many scouting commitments or sports commitments or school or whatever, see if there's opportunity to overlap those scouting commitments there. See if you can get a venturing crew into your troop that meets semi-regularly, or as least is just active with that unit.
Yeah.
So there are definitely a ton of opportunities there. And I guess the last thing I'll say is Montana Council is really fortunate to have a VOA of its own. And, there are only a few venturers throughout the state. So, it's definitely, really crazy and really awesome that they're able to accomplish that and just have that network, even though, geographically they're really far apart. So I think I'll be linking in the article and, of course, in the graphic, that will accompany this. There's that contact information there. You can learn more as well and get involved with them.
Perfect. Awesome, Dylan. Well, this has been super informative to me, and I'm sure the people that are listening, and hopefully you'll never hear someone call it a venture crew again, or a venture pack again. Yeah. Who knows? We'll see. But I think it was very informative and really interesting just to hear about this other aspect of BSA that not that many people know about. So thanks for coming into our little studio and for sharing.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Hi, thank you so much for watching this episode of the Venturing Educational Campaign. We hope you got a lot more insightful details about the Venturing program. Just so you know, though, there are accompanying articles with this podcast, which you can find on our website at montanabsa.org. There will be a little bit more detail in those articles, as well as some gaps filled in here or there. So just make sure to check that out. And of course, stay tuned for future installments. Thank you.